Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today, Tesla received horrible earnings and the stock went up in the aftermarket. Prior to today, Tesla was in a rout. It had gone down 43% since the beginning of the year. But somehow, some way, after they missed earnings, after they missed revenues, the stock went up. What is going on? Well, I think part of it is shareholders were relieved to hear that he had not given up on the cheaper model Tesla, that he's going to make the Model 2, as it's sometimes referred to. And so I think that was a big part of it. He also emphasized autonomy, the full self-driving, and ultimately that's supposed to lead to robo-taxis. So he more or less indicated that he's pursuing both routes. There are many reasons to be excited about Tesla's future. They came out with the Cybertruck, which is catching on. They're doing electric semis. Their solar business is picking up and is creating significant revenue now. And they get significant credits, tax credits that other companies buy from them to fulfill their energy requirements by the government, that they do a certain amount of alternative energy vehicles. And if they don't do enough, they have to buy these tax credits from Tesla. So there was some positive in the earnings report. Their margin hadn't decreased much. I think it went up slightly to about 17%. So that was a relief. And hopefully that's the bottom of that. But Tesla warned that they are going to go ahead. I'll call it the Model 2, the new, smaller, more economical Tesla. They're going to go ahead with the Model 2 and work on that, which I think was the big relief. There were rumors that he was going to devote it all to the robo-taxis, which is a longer shot. And he more or less says they're going to do both, which I think combined with the route that they had experienced and the good news that they're going to continue to work on the cheaper vehicle, which is really what Tesla shareholders are looking for. I think that boosted the stock considerably. Tesla has 28 days of unsold vehicles, which is higher than the previous 15 days of inventory of unsold vehicles. So that's a negative. And the EV adoption has slowed down simply because the people that are enthusiastic about it, like me, have already bought one, and the rest of the country is being dragged kicking and screaming into the electric age. I think a good compromise for many people is to buy the hybrid, which is cheaper. One thing that isn't factored in, actually two things that aren't factored in, is how much less it costs to once you actually own a Tesla. Your fuel cost is about a third of what it would be if you were buying gas, for example. And there's virtually no repairs. The only thing that really wears out on a Tesla is the tires. The brakes don't wear out much because it stops itself with the regenerative braking, which helps recharge the batteries, to the point you actually get better mileage in town because you hit the brakes more, or the brakes go on more when you let off the gas, which regenerates the battery. And it's so strange that you actually get better mileage in town. But there's virtually no repairs. I think the only thing that you need to replace is about after 10 years, you probably have to replace the battery, which will set you back. But it's probably about the only thing that does wear out in a Tesla besides the tires. So in the aftermarket, Tesla went up significantly. It was hanging in the 140s and it went up to like 155. We will see what tomorrow brings as people think about these earnings somewhat more. But I think a lot of it is a reaction that it had just gone through such a rout, and it is a company with a lot of promise. But I think that promise starts getting delivered more so 6 to 9 months from now. I'm not particularly interested in investing in it right now. It still has to go through this difficult period. Texas Instruments, whose symbol is TXN, also reported earnings, and they forecast that their revenue would increase significantly in the second quarter. Texas Instruments makes more semiconductors for household appliances, for factory machinery, and for cars. So it's not exactly in the same league as Nvidia, but we look to it to give us some indication, and it's good that is positive. As Texas Instruments beat on both revenue and on earnings, plus they had a strong second quarter forecast. Another major earnings report was Visa, and Visa reported that they beat on both earnings and revenue, and I take that as a strong indicator that the economy is in good shape and we aren't in danger of recession for right now. Cadence Design Systems, whose symbol is CDNS, recently reported earnings and they were poor, which has brought this artificial intelligence stock down. They provide software for Nvidia to produce its CPUs and GPUs. So it's a major artificial intelligence stock, and I hope it isn't too forecasting what Nvidia might do on May 22nd. You can see how the recent earnings have brought Cadence Design Systems down, and its relative strength is only 33, which is not a good indication of future results being positive. On Wednesday, April 24th, I'm especially going to be looking at the earnings for Vertiv Holdings. They provide electrical equipment for data processing centers, especially cooling equipment. So they are very important for data centers. So I think this will be a good indication of how artificial intelligence is likely to continue doing for now, with my mindset towards Nvidia's May 22nd earnings. So I believe that earnings are coming in surprisingly good. And even GM is reporting that they're selling trucks and that the U.S. consumer is surprisingly resilient. So if anybody asks you how you're doing, just say that you're amazingly resilient, right? That's the way I roll. Thanks a lot.